Of these two blues, which is warm and which is cool? If you're not sure, know that you're not alone. Many artists struggle with this same dilemma regarding color. So today I'll be clarifying questions like that. And as well, I'm going to show you why warm and cool colors have very little to do with memorizing a color wheel, but everything to do with relative temperature. And relative temperature is probably the single most important thing to know about warm and cool colors, yet it's probably the area where most artists get so confused. So today we're going to break it all down, make it easy to understand, so let's get into it. Okay, so to start it off, let's take a look at this painting of mine, which has a good mix of cool and warm colors. So this was actually a restaurant in Chicago that I went to that I was heading back to the washroom, and you have to walk past the kitchen, and it was just all this hustle and bustle that was actually pretty neat. But the coolest thing about it was because you see the warm lights on the right-hand side, that was the restaurant up here. So the restaurant part was just warm, glowing lights, but then the kitchen had all these white lights above the chefs. So you see a lot of the warm through here, but see the cash register back there? It just has that blue light that really glows. So you have a lot of warmth on that side. Then on this side, in the kitchen, you had the cool light from above. So that cool light was hitting the chef's, like the chef's hat back there on the left, over here. That was more blue, whereas the front of it was actually some of the warmth coming up from the flames. Same with his sleeve, you can see. Warm in the front, cool in the back. So that mixture of cool and warm is very attractive to the human eye, or it draws attention. So it makes it more appealing for people. You can see on their the hats that they're wearing has cool colors in them. Of course, black being cool. Same with the light hitting his back there, very cool. But the front of their faces are more being lit up by the restaurant light because they're shadowed. So all of it works together, but when you have warm and cool together, it can make it more attractive. And then this side with the all the smoke and steam and everything coming from the whatever they're frying or cooking. But those warm colors as well as the blue underneath the frying pans just helps it to clash and draws attention. So it's a mixture of the two that can really help a painting, help a composition to work out better for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into color. So we'll start off at the beginning. So just to make sure that everyone understands the basics of warm and cool colors, and then we'll dive deep into relative temperature. Okay, so this is the standard color wheel that I'm sure many of you have seen many times before. So we have the three primary colors, which are in the center in this diamond: yellow, blue, and red. And just outside of that, in this row, we have the secondary colors, which are the colors that are mixed between these primary colors. Red and blue make purple, blue and yellow make green, and yellow and red make orange. So then from that point, if you see these points, each of these points reach out to a primary or secondary color. So red here, the purple here, but in between those two colors are a mix of those two colors, primary or secondary colors, mixed to make this tertiary color. So this whole outside color wheel is the tertiary colors as well as the 6 primary and secondary colors. So without getting too confusing, I just wanted to make sure you understood those 3 circles or those 3 realms. But with those primary colors, the yellow, blue, and red, which versions of these 3 colors can create any color out there? And looking at these 3 colors, you'll notice we have 2 that are warm, one being the yellow and the other being red. And then we have a blue, being the only color that's cool in the primary colors. So that blue will be the coldest color on the color wheel, always. And now we have 2 warms left. So we need to mix those 2 warms to find out which color is the warmest. And mixing yellow and red, of course, creates orange. So orange is the warmest of all colors. And as you see, this is why they are directly across from each other on the color wheel. Also, if you think about it, the hottest thing on Earth is fire. And for the most part, that is. And fire is mostly orange. Same with volcanic lava or melted metal. They all have shades of orange in them. Whereas cold things would be like Antarctica, where other than white, the only colors are shades of blue in the ice and water. So now let's look at what's warm and what's cool. So in this tertiary color circle, we have 12 colors. So what I'm going to do here is pick 4 warm colors and 4 cold colors. But I'm going to leave 2 greens and 2 reds. But this goes for any colors, like 2 blues, 2 yellows, whatever. When this happens, artists usually have an issue with trying to find out which one's warm and which one's cool, because they're so close to the same color, just a hue off. So green and green light would be considered cold, but when you compare them to each other, the light green is obviously closer to the yellow side. So that would be the warm, and the solid green would be the cool. Then on the opposite side of the color wheel, you'll see cad red and alizarin crimson. So which one of these is cool and which one is warm? And you can read it the same way. The alizarin is closer to the cold side, and the cad red is closer to the orange side, the warm side. This is how all colors would be dealt with when you're looking at the color wheel. So now let's go back to the question I posed at the beginning about these 2 blues. Which one of these 2 blues is warmer? So Google and several AI platforms state that this is the coolest and truest blue. And this actually goes closer to the ultramarine blue. Now the phthalo blue is very close, especially in the darks. But as you can see with the white mix, you can see more green is added to that phthalo blue. Also in the middle on the top, you can see that's almost a cobalt blue color. So that would probably be cool enough to be included in that. Okay, so now let's get into relative temperature. So now we know how to read warm and cool colors on the color scale, but relative temperature teaches us that color can only be defined as warm or cool relative to the other colors surrounding it. So this means if a painting has a lot of cool colors in it, then the warmest color may be a color that in most other paintings would be considered cool. So a color isn't warm or cool by itself. It's warm or cool compared to other colors inside of that painting or that scene. This is often an aha moment for some artists because it helps them to understand. And I think something that would help you out even more is if I show you in a painting what I mean. So this particular painting is one done by Albert Bierstadt. And as you see, it's a very warm painting, very beautiful painting. Obviously toward the end of the day where that sun's setting. But so you have a very warm painting in the background. You have a little bit of cools up here. So these would be some of your cool colors as you see here. So this would be a warm setting. On this one, this is another Bierstadt, and this is obviously a very cool painting. Okay. And on this painting, all this is cool. You can see a little bit of warm back here where the sun's hitting. And then, of course, this is a warm section. So I want to take this warm section as well as the cool section over here. And if you put those together, I'm just going to go ahead and click the eyedropper. And with this being the cool section, I'm just going to click on here. And down at the bottom, that bottom color is the cool color. So now when I see how the top changes? I don't know if you know Photoshop, but now if I bring that into this painting, you can see that the warm colors in this cool painting are actually the same color. So it's just something that shows you any color with the exception of the ultimate cool and the ultimate warm, but almost any color can be warm or cool. Any color can be warm or cool, depending on the surrounding colors around it. Okay. So why do painters care? Well, it just makes a painting feel more alive, more interesting. It can also help create depth along with the value. It also helps create form with other colors of the same value. Meaning in a black and white, the values can be the same, but a color shift can also help separate those objects when they're in color. It can also turn shapes or forms better. It can help separate light and shadow. So it can make scenes look more attractive or more beautiful. That's the main reason you want to focus on warms and cools in your paintings. So I guess if you want to look at it in this sense, warms and cools are really mostly needed in the composition of a painting, in the designing of that painting. So when you're creating a scene, try to figure it out and figure out where you can add both warms and cools in that scene. It's kind of like this. I mean, behind me, I've got blue and orange, kind of separated opposite colors because it gives that feel of life. Okay. So try to figure out where you can add both warms and cools, but remember, they need to work with each other in that same harmony, that same color harmony in that painting, so it looks real. Unless you're more impressionistic type to where you want it to look a little bit different, that's perfectly fine. But realistic, you would want to have it be in the same harmony. Lastly, warm colors advance. The human eye sees warm colors and red colors stick out a lot more than they say blue or purple colors. That's why stop signs and road construction signs are usually red and orange, whereas things less important like parks or rest stops are usually in blue. So you may have heard warm light often creates cooler shadows, and cooler light creates warmer shadows. And this is true for the most part, depending on the reflective light. You may also have heard that cool colors recede, and in a landscape, that's absolutely true. As you see with the far off mountains and trees, they're more of a blue tint. And that also is more reflective light from the sky. And reflective light, by the way, is what we'll be going over in the next episode. So make sure you tap in for that. Okay, so in conclusion, with many colors, you can tell if they're warm or cool. But those middle colors make it difficult. So you need to compare it to the other colors in that piece or that scene. So if you have any other questions, please put them in the comments and I'd be happy to answer them all. And as I mentioned earlier, the next episode will be regarding reflective light, which is kind of something that goes hand in hand with warms and cools. But in all honesty, it's probably even more important than warms and cools. So definitely subscribe if you haven't so that you don't miss that. And if you like this episode, please click the like button. And until next time, God bless everyone.